Alright, it's time for the yearly update video that I usually do. This time I'm gonna do it more off-scripted. But yeah, this is just gonna be me rambling on about stuff then looking back at 2023, which, yeah, it was quite a busy time for me, working on videos and attending the YouTube Poop collab, and of course, Dissected Alive, we're still keeping that going. And yeah, personally, yeah, I finally managed to move up to full time with my current job. So hey, now I have another excuse why I don't want to deal with selling my soul to YouTube and all that shit. But yeah, looking back, I think 2023 was decent, has its up and downs, and yeah, not much to say there. So when it comes to doing videos on YouTube, yeah, this was definitely a very experimental time. Still keeping with Archie Sonic character files, having fun with that. And then of course I tried out and doing a few animated videos using Gary's mod. After I tried a little bit of that with my first April Fool's video, you know, the insanity of Melting Man, yeah. And oh yeah, then of course that's when I got to decide to join in that Nightmare Before Christmas YouTube Poop collab. So after I did like my first one on Roger's old Sonic Minutes cartoons, and I heard that this was getting announced, I'm like, huh, you know what? I'll throw my hat into the ring. I'll give this YouTube poop thing another go, and you know, this time really go all out with it. And yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. It seemed like a lot of people that were attending the collab, yeah, they all really liked it. It seems like there's usually two bits that I've seen people like the most, like the whole bit where Oogie says, "I'm gonna do the can," and the whole argument with Lock, Shock, and Barrel about where they want to go to eat. And then after that, I'm like, oh, you know, maybe we could do one more. So then that's when I did the whole Snow White and the 47 Prickly Pears, just to try and mess around with that, after getting inspired by the Snow White YouTube poop collab. So yeah, it's good stuff. And then of course, yeah, 2023 was definitely the big year for Forgotten Media, where I got to reach 100 episodes. Yeah, it took me 12 years, but I finally did it. And it's kind of funny, this was kind of an idea I thought back like years ago, like, oh, I'll cover like the shortest TV shows ever made. And as the years went on, I'm like, oh, you know, if I'm slowly reaching that milestone, maybe I should do a little more than that. So I decided the idea of like revisiting past episodes, because yeah, there's definitely certain topics that I've covered in the past that have been updated. Like Little Shop was one example, where back then I only had the first episode of the cartoon to work with, because that was all I had. But nowadays, all of them have surfaced online. And of course, yeah, many other stuff. That's a little too much to get into. But yeah, just wanted to make a big thing with the 100th episode, because it just so happens to be like the same year that Disney and Warner Brothers celebrated their 100 years, and it felt like that was a sign. It's like, yes, it is finally time to reach 100. And then of course there's Dissected Alive that I'm still part of with Roger and the gang. So yeah, we definitely have our fun going through season 3 of Sonic X and continuing on with our Fleetway Sonic marathon. So yeah, it was fun, but also a bit draining at the same time because, well, for me, when doing the live streams, I was watching both the U.S. and Japanese versions, mostly on Hulu for convenience, and you know, just to see like, oh, there's like something different here in the Japanese version or this and that. So by the end of it all, I still would say that the Japanese version of Sonic X is still the better version, but I will agree that even after going through the marathon, there are certain bits and details from the English dub that are actually better than the Japanese version, which I'm sure I pointed out a few times on the streams. Yeah, nowadays we're just getting into Sonic Underground, which that that was actually something that I suggested to Roger, mostly because he'd never actually seen the show, and I was real curious to hear his thoughts on it. So yeah, we finally get around to doing a Sonic Underground. We covered the first episode, well, technically the episode that starts off the series, you know, with how Sonic and the gang were raised by separate parents and whatnot. So yeah, we started with that episode, and we ended up wasting like over an hour just on that one episode. But yeah, it was great stuff. So it's gonna be fun going through the rest of Sonic Underground because yeah, honestly, it has been a long time since I watched the show. Back when I saw them on the old Shout Factory DVDs. And yeah, there are a few things that I've kind of changed my mind on. Like back then, I didn't really care that much for Manic the Hedgehog, but now that we're going with the marathon, I'm starting to like him a lot more. Yeah, he's kind of becoming my favorite character in the show. Speaking of Sonic, this year was in some ways more of a way to reflect on the whole deal of how I've handled the series so far. which, yeah, didn't go very well. So basically, when I was, fed up with the meta era and all this other shit and yada yada yada, so I figured, like, oh, okay, screw it. I'm just gonna take this oath of silence and never talk about the Sonic games ever again, which only ended up backfiring and making me even more bitter and cynical. And really, yeah, I think looking back at it, yeah, it just made me even more out of touch than I was with the fan base. Like, oh, the classic fans are still evil and blah 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 blah. So, but yeah, after a while, I finally decided to like let it all go. That pretty much became my New Year's resolution for 2024. Was let go of all the cynicism and angst and all this other stuff. Finally let go about having the prejudice against the classic Sonic fans that I've had since the late 2000s, and yeah, all this other shit. Because I'm old. I've lived through so long with the franchise. Meh. But yeah, it's finally that time to let it all go and be more, be a little more mature and stable presenting it, because that was kind of one of the issues, just bad presentations and all that. So, in some ways, that recent Orbot and Cubot video I did, that was more of like an experiment to try and really tone down on the cynicism and whatnot. So, give more of a better reason, like, okay, I don't like Orbot and Cubot because this and that, and then talk about why I preferred the other henchmen better. So yeah, while I'm on it, I might as well briefly talk about the Sonic games that I've ignored for so long. So, Team Sonic Racing, yeah, I think I talked about this on the live stream, but I might as well talk it here. Yeah, it's fine. Like, yeah, the story's very forgettable, especially with the new Dodonpa. I mean, like, who even remembers Dodonpa? I'm really curious. But yeah, the whole Team Sonic Racing thing. Yeah, I played it. It's like, yeah, it's just fine. The whole team mechanic thing kind of turned me off a bit because I thought, oh, great, I'm gonna be babysitting brain dead AIs. But no, it wasn't that bad as I thought it was. Like, even so, compared to the previous game, like Sega All Stars Racing Transformed, yeah, Team Sonic Racing was quite the downgrade. So yeah, again, it's fine. Just not really a game I feel like picking up again. Sonic Frontiers, yes, the big one. The whole deal of this game being in 5 years in development and all this other stuff, and people hyping over it and people raging over it. So, right, so Sonic Frontiers, I did play it. And after going through the whole game plus the DLC, yeah, honestly, I'm very mixed. That's all the best way I can sum up this game. I'm very mixed. It's like story-wise, yeah, it's definitely a great departure from the whole like self-awareness and self-deprecation. But even then, it just kind of feels flat. Yeah, it really feels like an overcorrectness. It's like, okay, we're gonna make this super serious, but in some ways, they kind of made some things like very boring. Like, yeah, like the whole voice direction is quite different. The characters are more like toned down a bit and all that, and Sonic sounds much deeper. Which, yeah, now looking back at it with all the newer stuff that's come out, like the Lego Sonic commercials and Sonic Dream Team, and how they've all gone back to like sounding more upbeat and energetic, then yeah, the voice directing for Frontiers, which I assume was intended to be like the new direction for the series, now just sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's just this one and done deal, I guess. But yeah, gameplay-wise, yeah, it was fun just running around in 3D. I kind of find it odd that for some reason I had some issues trying to remember all the movesets that Sonic had. I don't know if it's because he has too many, or maybe I'm just getting old. But yeah, like running through the islands, like, yeah, they were fine. I mostly just had fun, like, exploring the islands, going through, like, all the challenges and everything. Cyberspace levels, yeah, I don't like them. Well, they do mix up the level structures, like there's a level taken from Sonic Adventure 2, but it's all Green Hill Zone themed, so yeah, they could have really used more variety with the themes. But yeah, control-wise, for some reason it just didn't feel that great. Fortunately, all that stuff is purely optional because there's other ways of getting the gears to continue the story, like, fighting off Titans or attending big fishing stuff. So yeah, there was only like one or two cyberspace levels that are mandatory at the beginning, but after that I completely ignored them and just went fishing or explored the island to find other gears. But yeah, and then of course, yeah, the final boss with the end, and you're just shooting stuff. Yeah, I was pretty much in the minority. It was like, yeah, I don't think it's that bad. But I guess it's because I was kind of getting tired of how Sonic games have been so reliant on the final boss just being, oh, chase giant robot down endless hallway, and yeah, it was starting to get a bit stale. So it's like, hey, something new for once. But yeah, Oh yeah, then the DLC that came out. Yeah, the only one that's worth talking about is the third one. Like, oh, a new story where we get like an alternate ending, and we get to play as Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. It's been like so damn long since they've been playable in a major Sonic game. So like, yeah, they were all right. Like, I guess I'll get this out of the way. The whole deal with Knuckles gliding is like, yeah, I mean, the wind up, I didn't mind it, but when flying around, yeah, it was very stiff. But eventually they did patch it out or update it, and so I did get to try with the new physics. So yeah, it controls better. Yeah, Amy, yeah, she's playable, and for some reason she's really addicted to using her fortune cards for everything, and less on her hammer. I mean, sure, 2023 was like the year for Amy and whatnot. It's like, okay, bringing back the fortune card, trivia bit, yada yada. But in Frontiers, it feels like they really went overboard with the theming with the cards. So, like, one instance is that one of her abilities is like launch herself up in the air. She like jumps and spins around. And when I noticed that animation, I was like, wait, that's the hammer jump ability from Sonic Adventure. Except it's now done with cards. Okay then. So yeah, in some ways I was kind of under the impression that this was just another one of Sega's retcons, like, oh, modern Amy can only use fortune cards, and classic Amy can only use the hammer. But yeah, I don't think that's the case, because yeah, the hammer keeps popping up. It's just not as relevant as it used to be in some ways. And then Tails, yeah, boy, that boy can really fly fast when he's in those two Tails. Yeah, he was kind of the weaker with the attacks, because, you know, most of the time he's just throwing those wrenches, which in some ways is pretty hilarious. But yeah, and then of course I went all fanboy mode when one of his abilities was to summon the Cyclone or the Tornado 2 or 3 or whatever. Like, either way, I didn't care. I was just super excited. Like, yay, it's the Tornado with the blue and yellow color schemes. I miss that so much. But yeah, like overall, I'm kind of mixed with Frontiers. I guess in some ways I kind of lean more towards slightly positive, if that makes people happy. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what future holds for the Sonic games or whatever. Sonic Superstars, yeah, despite my prejudice that I had with classic Sonic fans back then, that I used to have, I decided to just give Superstars a go. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's alright. You know, different playable characters and whatnot. It feels a little more on Sonic Mania gameplay than Sonic 4 gameplay, then sure, it's fine. The bosses are dragged out and can be annoying. There's definitely in some later levels where it feels like the level designing and at least enemy placements can feel like they just show up just throwing a lot of pot shots, especially in Trip Story. That's pretty much the harder mode. But yeah, I mean, Sonic Superstars, like, it's fine. I'm surprised this is a classic Sonic game that's very heavily divided. Like, you know, some people like it, some hate it, and yada yada. And of course the music, yeah, which, yeah, I can agree. Some bits in the music aren't that great, mostly from Jun Senoue, bringing back his Sonic 4 style of composing, yeah. This game just shows why Jun Senoue should never do music for any classic Sonic themed game. Or at the very least, just give him better instruments and not just have him be constantly obsessed with the Genesis snare drum from the games. Sonic Dream Team, ah yes, the Apple exclusive game that people are really mad about. Now, this one, I actually got real lucky and got to experience this game, mostly because of my brother-in-law's iPad that he had. I got to play around with that during Christmas. So when I played with it, like, yeah, it's fun. Although the controls were a bit weird. I was using the touch screens, and kind of moving around was the only issue I had. I'm sure it works better on a controller, but of course, my friend Elise, who's also on Dissected Live, pointed out that the touchscreen controls work better if you just mess around with the options, which I completely forgot about when I went through my playthrough. Sadly, I didn't beat it. I got as far as to unlocking all the characters, so hey, at the very least, I got to experience what the everybody else plays like. So like, yeah, they're fine, you know, Cream and Tails, they get to fly around, and Knuckles and Rouge get to glide and cling onto walls like in ye olden days of Sonic Adventure 2, yeah. Yeah, Sonic Dream Team, yeah, it's a good game, just sucks that it's stuck on a platform that not many people own. Huh. It's the next generation of Knuckles Chaotix in a way. Oh, and speaking of Sonic, I actually got to attend the Big Fancy Sonic Symphony concert. That was the one that I went to was in Chicago, mostly because that was a little more closer to my apartment. It's like, oh, hey, 2-hour drive, that's nice. So yeah, I got the tickets set up and everything. I went to the concert, and yeah, it was great. Saw a lot of Sonic fans, like carrying around plushies or wearing T-shirts or even cosplaying. Like there was this one group dressed up as Tangle and Whisper. That was pretty cool. And yeah, the concert itself, yeah, that was cool. Getting to see a live orchestra playing some familiar Sonic tunes from the past. And then, yeah, then the break time, and then I went and quickly tried to get something from the merch. Mostly, I just got the poster and the cap, just something more simple. Then again, I feel like I should have just gone for the cap instead. But oh well, I'll find wall space for the poster if I ever get around to it. But yeah, the second act is what really surprised me. It's like, oh, the countdowns, everyone's like, yeah, 3, 2, 1, yay! And then it goes dark, and then boom, I Am starts playing from a Shadows game. Then Crush 40 comes out. So yeah, they play a lot of songs. Some of them are songs they've done for Sonic games, like Live and Learn and What I'm Made Of, and other stuff. I think they did a few songs from Sonic Frontiers. But yeah, it was great. Now I can die happy, now that I've actually managed to attend one of the live concerts of Crush 40. Yeah, speaking of concerts and live stuff, yeah, 2023 was definitely the year for me of attending conventions. Mostly the My Little Pony themed conventions. So the one I went to first was TrotCon in Ohio. That one was kind of more last minute planning, because yeah, I was kind of debating on it for a while. I was like, oh, okay, it's in Ohio. It's like roughly yeah, I think it was 3 hours away. So yeah, the planning ahead and then trying to, oh shit, gotta get like an apartment or, well, not an apartment, like a hotel rooms, to, actually live in stuff for a while. So, but I didn't get to attend the full thing. I got there like Saturday, checked in the hotel, went to the con, and then Sunday, I checked out, went to the con, and then drove back. But yeah, there's not much to say about TrotCon. I didn't attend most of the panels. Well, I think I went to one, and that was a voice acting thing. That was cool. But most of the time, I was just hanging around in the vendor hall, where all the good stuff is, with all the custom-made MOP merch and everything. Yeah, it was nice. I saw a few cosplayers. I even got to meet the creator of Flufflepuff. Yeah, that was nice, nostalgic, that pink fluffy pony. And oh yeah, I actually got to meet one of the staff members that worked on the IDW MOP comics. Yeah, that was cool. I saw there was one vendor that had a whole bunch of comics from like the MOP G4 MOP comics, and so around that time I was kind of thinking of like trying to complete my collection of MOP comics. So thanks to that stall, I got to spend like what $100 on like, I don't know, 50 or so issues that I was missing. So that definitely saved me the trouble of trying to find them on eBay. Especially Equestria Girls March Radness. For some reason, I could never find a physical copy of that on eBay and Amazon. Then again, it did came out in 2020 during the pandemic, so yeah, I imagine physical editions are very rare. But yeah, thanks to the con, I was able to save up on money to try and complete my collection, especially getting March Radness. So that was nice. And then of course I got a few plushies and everything. So yeah, good stuff. Nice first impressions for my first MOP convention. And then came the big one, yeah, Ponyville Ciderfest in Wisconsin. That was definitely quite a quite an event for me. Because yeah, this time I actually got to plan ahead and schedule things of like, okay, the cons at this location. It's a 3-hour drive or so. I'm actually gonna go ahead and set up times to get time off and get a hotel room booked in. So I was much more prepared to go to the convention. So yeah, I went there up Thursday to check in and got my badge, and yeah, it was quite the experience. It was oh man, there's just so many things to talk about with this convention. There was just so much going on and everything. I guess I might as well talk about some of the guests. But yeah, so the voice actors, I was definitely surprised to see some of them come back. Well, come back to talking their characters or whatever. Well, you know what I mean. So yeah, there was quite a batch there. Yeah, Kelly Sheridan, voice of Starlight Glimmer, Bill Newton, voice of Bright Mac, Pony of Shadows, and a couple more. Um, Ellie Ray Hennessy, yeah, that was voice of Miss Main, and Grandma Figgy from G5. This was her first MOP convention apparently, and same deal with Gallus Penton, voice of Flash Magnus. So apologies if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. So yeah, there was that. Oh yeah, Diana Karina. I actually got a shout out from her that I like paid for like those recording things. That one I mostly did for a friend who couldn't make it to the convention, so I asked her to do this quick little shout out of both Arya Blaze and Saffron Masilla because that's my friend's some of his favorite characters, so he really liked that.
Hey Sketchy, this is Arya Blaze, just sending a shout out to you. I guess it's a shame you couldn't be here, but I'm not surprised because you're the worst. And this is Saffron Masala, and I hope you stay sweet and spicy and have a wonderful day.
So aside from the actors, we also got oh yeah, esteemed writer Josh Haber. Yeah, so worked on season 4. Yeah, that's what the pamphlet says. So yeah, it was cool. And oh yeah, I even got to meet a few famous YouTubers there, like a Saberspark and Silverquill. Like my time with Saberspark was very brief because the panel I went to that he was at, it was that oh, who would win, those kind of things. And his time was very short, mostly because he had to catch a flight. But still, it was neat. I've seen his videos. Like I occasionally watch them here and there, so it was nice to see him in the flesh. And yeah, Silverquill, that was definitely MLP reviewer that I remember way back then. I remember watching him a lot, and then I kind of dropped off. I think it was because around the time I was really getting fed up with all the Flash Sentry slander. So you know the whole jokes and everything, the oh waifu stealer, hoo hoo. Yeah, I was just getting tired of that. But yeah, I eventually got over it. So I got to attend. Well, funny enough, I first attended his after the fact live segment that he did on the Stairmaster. So yeah, an episode from way back in season 1. That was fun, nostalgic. But then Sunday, I for some reason kept bumping into this guy unintentionally, because like he was at the Who Would Win panel, he was at the Gmod versus SFM panel. Oh yeah, I even saw him at a stall, which I was surprised he actually had a stall at the vendor hall. But yeah, I got something from him. It was the Coco Pamel keychain. So yeah, he's nice. Yeah, I got to attend the opening ceremony, which yeah, when they opened, well, I tell you, when they announced the guests of honor to the voice actors, like the one for Miss Main, like man, she was just full of energy, like coming out, all cosplaying and carrying around a Miss Main plushie and running through the aisles, giving everyone high fives. But yeah, that was great. And then yeah, some of the other actors also dressed up for the occasion, like Diana. Yeah, she was dressed up similar looking to Arya Blaze, and Giles was carrying around the shield that Flash Magnus has. So yeah, fun stuff. Especially the script reading that they were doing. So, okay, before I get into that, I should probably talk about the theming to this convention, because there's quite a bit to talk about. So, apparently with these conventions, they have like different themes, and Ciderfest has quite a lengthy history. Not sure how much. This is my first time at Ciderfest. But anyway, for this year, it was a big interactive storytelling adventure. So the whole deal is that it starts off with the mascots for the convention are getting things ready, and this Kieran character, Physiglitch, she's feel like she's being left out, and you know, and so she comes across this magic book. I think it was called the Book of All Stories, where basically anything written down becomes a reality. So she starts using it, she gets real carried away, bringing characters from Equestria to life, and the pages are scattered everywhere. So now it's up to the player to help out with finding the pages and determine what kind of endings to help out with the different teams. So, you know, there's a hero team, a villains team, and a chaos team. So with my case, I just used I mostly decided on like the hero team and the chaos team. And yeah, there was quite a lot of stories to go through. Like, there's a few examples I'll talk about. Like, one story involved Starlight Glimmer when she was still evil and had her equality village. So this story takes place in an alternate reality where she actually convinces Twilight Sparkle and her friends to stay. So now it's up to the player to decide on what kind of ending. You know, just give up and join the village, or get the page and change things to the better. Another example is one that really surprised me was Juniper Montage from Equestria Girls and Shadowlock, a character from the comics, where they get into a bit of a tussle over the page. You know, they want to do it for their own personal means, like, oh, Juniper wants to be a star, and Shadowlock wants to rid all evil, and yada yada. Shy Feelings. That one I actually got from one of the actors attending the whole interactive story adventure, because yeah, like when you do the stories and complete them, sometimes you get little bonus tips like, oh, meet this character to do this and that, or get a secret da 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 da. Like another one was people were dressed as the Flim Flam brothers next to this like toy claw machine, and being their scammy carny sales, like, hey, place your bets, win a chance at the game to win a page of the Magic Spellbook, that kind of stuff. So the Shy Feelings one, I got that from Discord. Funny enough, when I was like taking pictures of cosplays and everything. So the story that I got was Shy Feelings. It's basically focused on Discord and future Fluttershy, where Discord offers to use one of the magic pages to make Fluttershy immortal, just like himself. So, and then it's up to the player. So in this case, yeah, the player sometimes shows up in these stories. So with my case, I just typed in the name of my pony, Sana, Bronze Age, to show up in the story. So that was fun. So right, the script reading, I mentioned that earlier. So I was interested in this. Like, I wasn't sure if it was going to be like reading through one of the official scripts from the show, or if it's some kind of something else. Well, it turns out it was the latter. So the script reading, it focuses on like a story where takes place during the interactive story adventure, where the Pony of Shadows has managed to get one of the pages. And our ragtag team of heroes, Starlight Glimmer, Grandma Figgy, and others like Arya Blaze, yeah, they're kind of all banished to the Shadow Realm, where like, oh, they feel depressed, but then they tell stories to try and feel better, like, oh, we do have like our positives and friendship and all that, and then occasionally the audience will take part in the story, like in the ending, the heroes, they defeat the Pony of Shadows, and now the audience gets to decide on the fate. It was either redeem the darkness, destroy the darkness, or send the darkness through Grandma Figgy's quote-unquote boot camp. And we ended up going with the chaos ending. So basically, yeah, Pony of Shadows is trying to bake cookies with the gang in this kitchen, which I can best describe as the gang trying to bake cookies in Discord's pocket dimension. But yeah, it was fun stuff. Let's see, I'm trying to remember all the other stuff, because, yeah, so much to do, so little time in these conventions. Yeah, there was that, oh yeah, I took part in, Rift Ponies when they were looking at some episodes from G1 and G2, as well as this, one, like, weird educational thing with Corey Feldman. I don't know what, I think it was Corey Feldman? Well, maybe, I don't know, the guy, the whole, what you talking about, Lewis, that guy. But yeah, there was that. I attended, oh yeah, the Izzy Moonbow fan club, because yes, Izzy is my favorite pony from G5, well, one of my favorites, next to Misty. There was yeah, Gmod and SFM, I talked about that. Archiving, yeah, that was kind of a depressing thing, because, like, oh, the importance of archiving stuff, because, you never know when it might disappear. Oh yeah, the autograph signings, yeah, there was that. That's where I got the voice shout out, and as well as an autograph from the voice actress of Starlight Glimmer. It's like, yeah, yeah, she was like, they were all nice, the conventions and everything. Oh, what else happened there? Oh yeah, there was that, and oh yes, the vendor halls. Yeah, I spent quite a lot of money there. So yeah, with the plushies and keychains and buttons and everything. I even got one of Bluey, because yes, I am a fan of Bluey. So yeah, that was nice. Oh yeah, apparently they had a few panels of the After Dark stuff. So, like the more adult themed stuff. I only felt like going to one of them, and I think it was oh yeah, it was the I think it was the Cards Against Equestria for charity. Yeah, that was it. So basically, the best way to describe that is it's a pony-themed apples-to-apples game, but more adult-themed. But yeah, I mostly went there because I knew someone in the Discord chat that I knew from a different server, and he was going to the convention. So like, hey, we get to meet up face-to-face for the first time. So yeah, it was nice. And then, of course, like, despite the, like, aside from all the convention stuff, I also did some downtime. Like, usually, like, going for dinner, I'd go to the hotel's bar and grill, which, yeah, after that, I can definitely tell why people love cheese curds. Because, yeah, in the Discord, when the convention was coming up, people were going on and on and on, like, oh, cheese curds, cheese curds. And I was like, oh, okay, I might as well give this a try. And now, now that I've tried cheese curds, that's one way to trigger my Homer Simpson mood, cheese curds. So yeah, aside from downtime, like, oh yeah, the hotel was nice. Yeah, very fancy looking. Only downside is this one of those hotels where there's a limit on how many people can get on elevators. So you can tell the wait times. It was quite long. But yeah, besides that, I would spend some downtime just chilling out in my hotel room, just to catch up on the story events and the interactive story, as well as watching random episodes of the show on my phone. Mostly some of my favorite episodes from the show, like A Royal Problem and Amending Fences, as well as a few episodes with Starlight Glimmer, like To Where and Back Again, and a few others. Oh yeah, and then the big closing ceremony. Yeah, I remember that took forever to get to, mostly because the auction event that was going on for so long, and I think that one of the reasons why is because yeah, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of bidding, and of course the one big thing that was happening there was that one of the items being auctioned off was like a few boxes that actually had script like official scripts from the show with like story notes and everything. So you can tell people were really fighting over that in the bid wars. But yeah, it was quite a long, but still was, worth it to get to the closing ceremony. And yeah, like overall, my time at Ciderfest, it was really great. I really loved going there. Not sure if I'll go 2024. I would love to, but who knows. Right now, I'm just saving money to go to Winnie City. That's another MLP convention, and one that's actually a little closer to me. So maybe I'll go to that one. Just saving up money for it. Alright, now that I've wasted close to an hour or so about Ciderfest, last thing to wrap this update video up is just talking about future videos. So, right now, after doing the 100th episode special and, of course, the bonus late Christmas special, I might do a few more Forgotten Media episodes this year, but right now I'm just taking a break from that series to focus more on Archie Sonic character files, because I've been really itching to get back into that series and have some fun looking at the histories of Archie Sonic and everything. Yeah, I do have a few ideas planned in mind. Like right now, I'm thinking like, oh, let's do Marine the Raccoon, and maybe like the Black Arm Aliens, and oh yeah, the other Sonic robots. Covering all the other miscellaneous Sonic bots. And yeah, and of course, since it's 2024, then yeah, it's definitely a good time to talk about Dulcie the Dragon and how she's like in the Archie Sonic universe. So yeah, that's pretty much it. YouTube poops, I might do more of that, but that'll be a slow process, mostly because that kind of stuff is really draining on me. Trying to think of good jokes and everything. So I do have a few in mind. Just don't expect them anytime soon. It'll come out when they come out. And then of course I still have Sonic Dissected. We're still going with that show. Recently we did one, like not really a proper one, just me, Roger, and Elise just rambling on about Sonic Frontiers. So yeah, it'll be a while before we get back into our usual bi-weekly schedule. But yeah, as of now, we're still continuing on with Fleetway Sonic and Sonic Underground, having some fun with that, and of course ranking the music videos for that series. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got planned for 2024. Maybe I might go to Winnie City, and maybe I'll do more YouTube poops, and maybe I'll do a few more Forgotten Media episodes. But yeah, right now it's just kind of going to be more Sonic themed with, well, specifically Archie Sonic stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan for this series, well, the plan for this channel, and that's all I got, so see you next time.